Hey boys and girls, you know what time it is? Alright, tonight's movie is Beaster Day. Before we get started, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And check out this new microphone I got. I got it on Amazon for like $25. And I don't know if it's going to make a big difference, but it feels cool. Makes me feel professional and shit. This episode is brought to you by Cool Dude Inc. Click the link below and go order yourself some t-shirts, man. So, anyway, Beaster Day came out in 2014. Written and directed by the Snig brothers, which is actually one dude, and I don't remember what his name is. I don't know why he's calling himself brothers. Maybe he's trying to get on that Fairley brothers or Coen brothers, or, you know, there's a lot of directors out there that are brothers, or supposedly. The film opens at a wedding, and it's a son giving a speech for his dad, who is remarrying. His dad is much older. The son is, mid-20s. And he just kind of bashes his dad. He's not happy about the wedding, and he just kind of talks a bunch of shit, kind of mic drops, walks out, starts hitchhiking. It's 2014, man. Why don't you get an Uber? But then some beast that we can't see, it sounds like a pterodactyl, comes down and chops his hand off, his hitchhiking thumb. And then it kills him. Then we go to the next scene and we meet Doug. Doug is one of our main characters. He's a dog catcher and he's getting ready for work. And I guess the big funny joke is he's stuffing his pants with socks. It's a very 80s joke, and it's stupid because it just gets more and more ridiculous. And next, because we're quickly meeting characters, the guy at the wedding whose dad was getting married that is killed, nothing to do with the story. Yeah, spoiler alert, he dies. We don't ever come back to him. Next, we meet a set of old people. They're not that old. They're older. Old enough to have a 25-ish daughter. I don't know how old these people are supposed to be. They're in their 20s. They're probably a little older than college, but they're not 30s. And the guy can't have bacon, but he's having his wife make bacon so he can smell it. Then he tries to talk her into letting him have a piece, but she's not having it. And then the phone rings. It's his daughter, Brenda, will be our other main character. She's calling because she is failing as an actress, and she's kicked out of her apartment, and she needs to come home. But the dad wants nothing to do with it because she's a little mooch, and he's tired of taking care of her. He thought he clipped her wings years ago, and she keeps coming back. So Doug goes to work. He's a dog catcher, I think I mentioned, and he works at Dog Catchers in the Rye. Very clever name. They're giving out their annual Dog Catcher of the Year award that Doug usually nails every year. So I think he's worked there at least 5 years. But this year, a new guy gets it, Hector. So Doug is a little irritated by that. Now he's got a little grudge against Hector, especially because Hector couldn't give a shit less about this award. He thought it was something that they just give out to everybody their first year. And Doug's just getting more aggravated, which I can kind of relate to. It sucks when you achieve something at work, or you see somebody achieve something that you wanted, and they're like, no big deal. You're like, what? I've been busting my ass for years to get that. And you just walk in and they just hand it to you. I think that's how Doug feels. I'm on Doug's side. Fuck Hector. Elsewhere, some lady's carrots have been dug up. So she goes out snooping around, looking. And we get some boobage as old Peter Cottonhell. We finally see the beast. Well, we see him. He kills somebody earlier. I'm not going to mention every kill that he does because there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of people introduced to this story that are just there to get killed. It's mainly girls that are topless. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how they got girls to star in this movie. Second of all, I have no idea how they get these girls to take off their clothing for these movies. But they do. And she does, and then she gets killed by Peter Cottonhell. This rat-looking, terrible. I don't know what to call it. It's not an animatronic. I don't know. I don't know if they made this bunny and thought, this is cool. I could make a movie that revolves around this thing that I made. Or that my kid made in 6th grade art class. Or if they came up with the story and they're like, can you make us a bunny? It's like, well, how much money you got? I got like $12. I'll see what I can do. Because the bunny is probably actually about this big in real life, and they just like Photoshop green screen. It's awful. So Brenda goes out to dinner. She comes into town because she's like out in California trying to be an actress. She fails. She comes back. She goes out to dinner with she goes out to breakfast with her father. And she apparently won't let him eat meat either because he's trying to sneak meat at his meal. Because like, well, as long as I got a beer on my daughter, I might as well get some meat out of it. And she's like, nope, you can't have meat. And he's like, damn it. And this guy's kind of reminds me of Donald from Microwave Massacre, only he's not as pathetic. And he basically lets her know, like, this is it. I'm tired of you going out and failing. You want to be an actress. You want to be a poet. You want to be all this unrealistic stuff. You got 3 months. If you don't have a job, you're out. And that leads her to Dog Catchers in the Rye, where she meets Doug and the gang and Hector. And next thing we get some more boobage. As another couple gets killed in the woods. And then we meet the hippie mayor, who was up for re-election. And he has a big Easter celebration that's going to bring a lot of tourists, going to bring a lot of money to the town. It's not a real big town. And the hippie mayor is kind of the only funny character, but he's not as funny as he's supposed to be because they went over the top to try and make this guy ridiculous and funny. And he's funny sometimes because, like, everything that's supposed to be funny in this movie just misses completely. And it's, like, funny that they're trying. I don't know. It's not good. Back at the Dog Catcher in the Rye, Doug gets to train Brenda, but Brenda just does not give a shit about anything coming out of Doug's mouth. She can tell that he's just a jackass and a doof and that he likes her. And she's not like that good looking, but she comes across as she's used to guys falling for her and having to deal with that crap. And he's just another one. But she actually likes Hector. And Doug catches on to that. So he's like, man, first he takes the Dog Catcher of the Year. And then now he's trying to take my girl. This guy's taking everything. So he tries to convince her that Hector is gay. And we get some more boobage. Only this time it isn't for the sake of a murder. This time it's over at the mayor's pool. Because the mayor has groupies. Because he's such a cool, hippie, fun guy. But one of his people come and inform him of what's going on. And that there's a lot of murder. They've started to find the bodies. And it's really bad timing. Because Mayor wants to have his little event anyway. So he's like, well, what do you think's causing it? Nobody knows what's happening. So he's like, well, sounds like a pack of wild dogs. And that's how the Dog Catchers in the Rye get involved with this whole thing. Because they got to catch these wild dogs. And pretty soon the people in town start finding out about it, so everybody's kind of freaking out. But he denies it. First he's like, deny, nothing's happening. Those bodies, those were garden tool accidents. And it is kind of funny when he puts out his safety hammer. It's just like a hammer with like bubble wrap around the end of it. He's like, you can use this now. It won't hurt you if you accidentally hit yourself in the head with it. There won't be any more injuries caused by these tools. So it's a combination. It's tools killing people and it's a pack of wild dogs. And he's on it. He's bubble wrapping all the fucking tools in town. And he's got the Dog Catchers in the Rye going out to catch all the wild animals. So like because the tools and the dogs, it's all happening at once. And it's going to be a massacre. But no matter what, the Easter Day festival must go on. It's kind of like in Jaws. How that mayor is like, we're not going to close the beach just because there's a shark. Same thing. I mean, I'm not saying it's a Jaws ripoff, but it's the same. It's the mentality of people in power. They're like, well, let's compare the risk versus the money we'll lose. If X is greater than that old Fight Club reference, we won't recall it. So the show must go on. While Brenda and Doug are out walking around, and he is training her, which is really just walking around aimlessly looking for wild dogs that don't exist, they see Peter Cottonhill. And so they make a break for it. Somehow, I don't remember how, but Doug falls down or something. And she starts running. And she remembers that he drove him. So she runs back. And she doesn't ask if he's okay or anything. She's like, goes through his pockets and grabs his car keys. Then she bails as he's like, wait, don't leave. I love you. Which, Doug, this is a red flag. She left you for dead. She came back for your keys. She John Jones your keys and took off running again. And he sits there and then he sees Peter Cottontail and he's like, oh shit. So when he gets back to work, he warns the other that it's the apocalypse. There's a 50-foot bunny running around killing people on a rampage. And of course, nobody believes him, even though they know something's killing people. There are bodies. It's not like there's no bodies and he sees a monster. There's bodies. There's no explanations, and he sees a monster. He has an explanation that, no, it's not a 50-foot bunny. It's rabid dogs. It's farm tools. So they think he's crazy, and he gets taken into custody. And he gets locked up in a cell. It's like this room with bars on a window, but it overlooks. Like there's no glass in front of the window. It's just like a weird, kind of like an old jail window. Like some Mayberry shit where he can see outside. And it overlooks the Easter Day festival. So he's like yelling out his little bar window. He's like, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. And these little kids are like, oh, they start freaking out. They look at the mayor and they're like, Mayor, why is he saying we're all going to die? He goes, yeah, we're all going to die Easter eggs. Yeah, we're all going to die some Easter eggs, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. So the Easter Day celebration is going on, obviously, and is being patrolled by the dog catchers of the ones that are left, because I think one of them has gotten killed at this point. Roger. And then in like this is kind of the Hail Mary ending. This is like the end of American Werewolf in London, where you have build up. This didn't have build up. This randomly killed people. This actually had a lot of kills in it. But remember how American Werewolf in London, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, you've had about 40 years, so I don't feel bad. When we finally see the werewolf go out and start killing everybody by the theater, like I think he's in the theater and he turns. That was the finale, and then he kills everybody in the theater. Is that how it happened? Man, I can't remember now. But then he goes out in the city and he starts going after everybody and he's killing all these people. Well, that's what the Beaster Bunny starts doing, except he's 50 feet tall. Immediately, first off, stomps the mayor, runs around killing everybody. The kills, it's broad daylight, shitty special effects, and it's just one after another. And it's so ridiculous, but it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's weird, man. You got to watch it because it's just like, you're like, what am I watching? This stupid bunny that like doesn't even like move its arms or anything. It's all one piece. It's like the equivalent is if you just cut out the shape of a bunny like in construction paper and put it on a popsicle stick and we're just like, you kill him, but enlarge it so it looked like he was bigger than the people. It's so terrible. And Doug continues to watch helplessly from his cell. So Brenda runs home, and apparently the town doesn't have any guns. Nobody has any guns because guns are illegal in this town. And it is weird. This movie does do a funny thing where it's like, it's got a mayor, so it's like political, but it doesn't take sides. Like the mayor in the same sentence will like attack the left and the right. Not like all out like you, but he'll like say something that's like, this would offend somebody on the right, this would offend somebody on the left. But he's saying it's the same person in the same sentence. So it's like, it's kind of like smart. I don't want to say anything about this movie smart, but it's kind of like, okay, we could be political, but we're not going to piss anybody off because it's so ridiculous that you can't even tell who should be offended by what he's saying. But there is a gun ban. The guns are illegal, so nobody can shoot this bunny. But Brenda runs to her dad's house, and her dad and his wife, her stepmom, they're doing some weird kinky bacon shit. She's like got a fishing pole, and he's like squealing like a pig trying to, I don't know. And she like walks in and she's like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, Brenda, how long have you been standing there? And she's like, do you still have guns? He's like, yeah, I got guns. I need them. Give me the key. And I don't know. I think he got a key. But she goes in the room. There's like an arsenal. It's like that scene in Money Talks where Chris Tucker needs guns, where Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen needs guns. They go to their friend's house, or the dude's house. I wasn't planning to mention Money Talks. But he's got all those guns. It's like that, except they might even have more. Or her dad might even have more. It's like that, only her dad might even have more. As, like, when they confiscate all the guns and they give them to her dad, I mean, he could arm, like, he could take over the town if he had, like, 6 people on his side. So she takes one gun, like an assault rifle, and she goes and she frees good old Doug. And just when you think, oh, well, maybe she likes Doug. Maybe she's come around. But she frees him, and he's like hopped up. I don't know what kind of drugs they gave him. So he remembers that, yes, we're all going to die, but he's not got his head together at all. And you kind of think, it's like, okay, she's got a soft spot in her heart for him. She's come back to save him. Maybe they'll live happily ever after. But then she's like, I don't know where she got this thing, but she's like, here, put this on. And it's a carrot suit. And she's got him running around dressed like a carrot to lure the rabbit Peter Cottontail after him. And it looks so stupid. Like, when did you make a carrot costume? Or did you just swing by the store and grab a carrot costume around Easter? That would almost make sense, actually. But I know that's not what happened. And so he's in his carrot suit running, and he just happens to lure Pete and Cottontail to the rooftop where Brenda is, and she's waiting for him, and she shoots him like 2 or 3 times, not nearly as much as you would think that you would have to shoot something that big, and it just kind of plops down and dies. And then Doug runs over to it, and he's like, yeah, puts his foot on it, like, I did it. Takes all the credit, and Brenda just looks at him like, you're an idiot. And then Doug gets his senses about him enough to be like, hey, I think, does this mean that we're a couple? And she's like, I thought you were gay. And then she says, how did that thing get so big? And then they like kind of scratch their heads into the end. The credits roll. And this movie did have a funny joke in it. You know what? I'm not going to tell the funny joke. Go turn. You can watch it on Tubi. There's one funny joke about an hour in that's, I'm not going to say it makes the whole movie worth watching, but that joke cracks me up. The Badass Award goes to Brenda. She was new to town and had a lot to figure out. Her dad had given up on her. She lost the only person she connected with. But in the end, she took care of business. What did we learn? Survival tales. Don't hitchhike. Stay out of the woods. And don't mouth off to a preacher. That's it, folks. I don't know if that's it for this week, though. May, I've been slacking lately, taking a little time off. May is going to be prom movies. And I'm going to do as many as I can. It's not going to be once a week. Now's a good time. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, because I'm going to drop them as soon as I finish them, pretty much. I'm going to watch. I might do 2 in 1 week. I might do 3 in 1 week. But we're gonna get back on track. I'm motivated again. So I will see you guys very soon.